Daf Nun Hey Amud Aleph, the top line, the first line at the top of the Amud. Continue on with the Hazos the Kohen Gadol does on Yom Kippur. Tana Kishu Mazein Maz Ala Kapaires Ala Keneged Oye Shel Kapares. When the Kohen Gadol does the sprinkling, does the Hazos, it doesn't touch the Kapaires. He does the Hazos, one lamala, one on top, and 7 below. It doesn't mean that it touches the kaparas on the top part of the kaparas and below and the lower part of the kaparas. It doesn't touch the kaparas itself, the top of the aron. Rather, it's the direction in which he does the hazos, but it's not meant to actually touch the kaparas. So he doesn't do it on the kapar. Ela keneged oye kaparas. It's opposite the thickness of the kaparas, and the blood drops onto the floor without actually touching the kaparas. So so when he does the sprinkling lamala, so the back of his hand is down, and he sprinkles it up. So when he does the sprinkling up, it's in the upward motion. So therefore, he has the back of his hand is down, and he sprinkles it up. So that's lamala. It doesn't mean on top of the kaparis. It's an upward direction. It's towards the top. So the back of his hand is down, and the sprinkling is up. And when he does it on the lamata, on the lower, is the back of his hand is, therefore, he has it, the back of his hand is up, and he sprinkles down. So it's lamata mitzada yara lamala. The back of his hand is up, and he sprinkles down. So that is the way it's done. It's not the top. It's not touching the kaparas. It's not on the upper or lower part of the kaparas. It's an upward motion or a downward motion. And when it's in an upward motion, then the back of his hand is turned down. And when it's in an upward motion, the back of his hand is turned up. How do we know that this is the case, that it's not actually touching the kaparas, it just means the motion of his hand? Amar Rav Bar Yaakov, Amar Rav Zera, Amar Kro, the pasuk says, Vehiza oisa ala kaparas, v'lifnei kaparas. So the pasuk says as follows. We have a pasuk by the par, and we have the pasuk by the soyer. Both by the par and the soyer, there's 1 almala and there's 7 lamata. But the psukim are different, and it doesn't say the details of both of them, and both psukim, it doesn't say the details of both of them. So the pasuk says by the par, the pasuk says v'lokach midam par v'hiza besbo al penei hakaparis kedma. So it says al penei hakaparis kedma, but it doesn't say how many hazos. It just says that he does it al penei hakaparis kedma v'lifnei hakaparis yazeh sheva pamim min adam besbo, and then it says lifnei 7 times. So it says the one on top, the upper one, it says al penei hakaparis, but it doesn't say how many times. And it says on the ones 7 below, it says 7. Now by the soyer, the pasuk says v'shachat es soyer achatos asher laham v'hevi es dam al mibeis laparochas v'asa es damai kasher asa ledam apar. So it says that he does it the same way that he does it with par. V'hiz ois ala kaparas l'fnei kaparas. And it says v'hiz ois ala kaparas v'lifnei kaparas. And he does it ala kaparas v'lifnei hakaparas. So that's what it says in the pasuk by the soyer. It says that you do it in the same way as you do it by the par. But it says, in addition over here, in this pasuk, by the soyer, it says v'hiza oisa ala kaparas v'lifnei kaparas. So oisa means 1. So, meaning therefore, by the pasuk of the soyer, it says, we learn out, it says beferish, that there is 1 lamala. The pasuk of the par, it doesn't say how many are lamala. It just says that v'hiza be'esbo al penei hakaparas, which means that it's 1 above. It's a 1 above, but it doesn't say how many. But the pasuk of the par, it says clearly sheva pamim, that lamata it says v'lifnei hakaparis. The lifnei is not al, so it's lifnei. It's the ones that are below. It says 7. By the soyer, it doesn't say a number. It doesn't say how many are lamata by the soyer. It says just v'hizoi v'lifnei hakaparis. It just says lifnei, but it doesn't say 7. It doesn't say how many. So therefore, we have to learn out the par from the soyer to teach me how many is lamala, and we have to learn out the soyer from the par to teach me how many that there's zayin, that there's 7 lamata. And the pasuk says, "Va'asa esdama kasher also." The pasuk says that we learn out one from the other. So therefore, we have a limud one from the other, and we have to learn out. We have to learn out the lamala of the par from the soyer and the lamata of the soyer from the par. So therefore, how do we know that the hazos of blood is not meant to be literally on the kapiris? It's just a motion of his hand. So menane mili, how do I know it? So Amar Rav Bar Yaakov Amar Vizer, the pasuk says, Amar Kra v'hiza oisa ala kaparis lefnei kapiris la yomer lamata besoyer deloy tzar. Now, why does it have to even tell us that the hazos below by the soyer? It's not needed. Because the gomer mimata the par. Because in any event, we have to learn out the number of the 7. We have to learn out from the par. So why do we bother even mentioning at all the lamata? We know that we have also kasher also. You have to learn out from the par. So we know that there has to be 7 lamata. So why does it mention at all lamata by the soyer? Lamen emar. Why does it say lakushe al lifnei? It must be to teach you a hekesh that the meaning of al is like lifnei. The al, which is the hazal lamala, is like the lifnei, like the hazals that are lamata. Ma lifnei the lav al. Lifnei means before it. It means he does it in front of. So that means it's not on it, it's not touching. So ma lifnei the lav al doesn't mean on it, it's not touching. Af al the lav al. So therefore, when it says al, when it says the one lamala, even though it says al, but it's not meant to mean literally on top of it, it's not touching. So we have this hekesh. Gemara says, Adarab, I'll tell you the opposite. Lo yomer lamala b'par deloy tzarach. Well, why don't you say it the other way? Why don't you say it's not necessary to tell me the one above by the par, because it doesn't say the number, it doesn't say 1. So in any event, you're learning it out from the soyer, so don't say it at all. So lo yomer lamala b'par deloy tzarach. The government mamala is soyer, because in any event, I'm learning it out from the soyer. Lama nemar, what does it say? Lakushe lifnei la'al. Must be to make a hakish lifnei to al. Ma'al mamish, just like al, that the implication of the word is literally touching. Af lifnei al mamish, so lifnei would also be that, should we interpret it as meaning touching? So why don't you say it that way, and therefore interpret that both of them mean that it should be literally touching the kaparas? Hi, Mike, what do you mean? If you mean to tell me, if you would tell me that lamata the sor, that is to be makish, and therefore, just like the mata, the below, it's not touching, above, it's also not touching. So lamala the par mi boile, then I would have a need for the lamala the par. I would still have a purpose for the lamala, that it says the one above by the par mi boile the katana be Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov. I would need it for the following drasha. The Tana the Bay, Rabbi Elazar ben Yaakov, he taught al penei hakaparis kedma. It says in the pasuk al penei hakaparis kedma. So zeh bana av kol makom shenemar penei and alakodim. So it says al penei hakaparis kedma. It says that when you do it, so this is referring to the par and the lamal of the par. It says that he's a basketball al penei hakaparis kedma. It coming to teach you when it says Pnei and Elikodim. It means to the east. So I have the purpose of telling me this, the above, that by the par, there's a purpose of it. So if you tell me that the lamata of the soyer, what's the purpose of the lamata of the soyer? Well, the question was, I know anyway, I have to learn it out anyway from the par to teach me the number 7, that it's 7 times below. So what's the reason that the Torah says it at all by the soyer? If that is for the hekesh, then I understand why I need the lamata by the soyer. That's to teach me the hekesh, that it does not mean literally touching the kapiras. And I also understand why I need the lamala by the par, which in any event I have to learn out the number 1 from the soyer. So what's the purpose of the lamala by the par? To teach me this drasha that whenever it says penei, it means kadim, it means the east. So I understand, therefore, I have the purpose for why it says lamala and lamata by the par and lamala lamata by the soyer. Eli amrat lamala b'par la kushe. But if you're telling me that the lamala of the par is for the hekesh, and it means that it has to be al, that it has to be literally touching lamata the soyer, lamai also, there's no purpose for the lamata of the soyer. So therefore, that must be the way we learn it. It must be that we have the lamata by the soyer, which really is not necessary because you have to learn out the number 7 anyway from the par. That's to teach me that it doesn't mean literally touching. And lamala of the par, which is not necessary because anyway you have to learn out the number 1 from the soyer, is to teach me that this drasha of penei, when it means al penei kaparas kedma, when it says penei, it means east. What is the relevance of that drasha? The Meiri explains. Well, for instance, when the Torah says that it is also to come into the Kodesh Kadoshim. The Torah says, "Vayim Hashem l'Moshe dar b'la'ar nachich v'al yavachol esel ha'kodesh v'beis l'paroi," because you can't come into the Kodesh Kadosh al pnei ha'kapayres ashal aron v'loyoms ki be'anon aral ha'kapayres. That means that it's also the Isser, the Raisa, to come into the Kodesh Kadoshim that the Torah is referring to is coming in from the entrance from the east. Coming from the east, that's where the Isser of coming into the Kodesh Kadoshim applies. So now the brisa, this that we were just discussing, that we learn out the par from the soyer, one from each other. So the pasuk says, "He's lamanu kamalamala b'soyer achas." It says oisa means one. So we learn out that by the soyer it's achas, it's one lamala. So lamata b'soyer ein yodea kama, but I don't know how many are done below. Harini done. I'll learn out the following. Nemra damim lamata b'par. It says by the par damim that you sprinkle the blood. Below it says by the par. Nemra damim lamata b'soyer, and it says it also by the soyer. Ma lamata b'par sheva. The Torah says explicitly by the par that it's 7 below. Af lamata b'soyer sheva. So too by the soyer, the number is, we learn out from the par, it's 7 sprinkling 7 azos below. Maybe I should say, learn it the other way. Nemra damim lamala b'soyer. It says blood sprinkling lamala above by the soyer. Nemra damim lamata b'soyer. And it says also that there's blood sprinkling below by the soyer. Ma lamala b'soyer achas. Just like above, it's 1 af lamata b'soyer achas. So too, the below lamata should be 1. So the Bride says, "Near lemidayma." What is it more comparable to? Donim mata mi mata vein donim mata mala. I should learn out mata mi mata, the ones below from below. The par below is 7, the soyer below is 7. I should learn out mata mi mata. It says, no, adarab, danan gufa mi gufa, vein danan gufa mi alma. I should learn out gufa mi gufa. I should learn out the soyer from the soyer. The soyer lamala is achas. I should say the soyer lamata is achas, and don't learn out from the par, which is something which is not gufa, which is a different animal. Talmud Loimar. Therefore, the pasuk says, "B'ferish v'asa es dama kasher also l'dama par." It says that you do the blood sprinkling just like you did to the par. Shein Talmud Loimar kasher also. It doesn't have to say kasher also because it says clearly that it says that it's done above and below. Ma Talmud Loimar kasher also. She'll call asi also shavos. So what does it mean to say that in all of the sprinklings should be the same? Geshem shalamata b'par sheva, kach lamata b'soyer sheva. So too, so there's 7 below by the soyer. Lamanu kama lamata b'par o b'soyer sheva. So we learn out that the sprinkling is below on both of them, the par and the soyer, 7. Lamala b'par they kama, but I don't know the sprinkling above lamala by the par, how many they are. The Torah doesn't say. Marani da. So I'll learn out. Nemra damin lamala b'soyer. It says by soyer lamala above. It says 1. V'nes says achas, which means 1. V'nemra damin lamala b'par, and it also says sprinkling by the par above. Ma lamala b'soyer achas, af lamala b'par achas. So it should be 1. Oy klachol derech zu. No, maybe say the other way. Nemra domim lamata bepar v'nemra domim lamala bepar. It says that domim lamata bepar, below by the par, and it says lamala bepar. Ma lamata bepar sheva, just like bepar sheva. Af lamala bepar sheva. It should be, maybe you should say 7. So again, ner lamidaima. What is it more comparable to? Danim mala mimala vein damim mala mimata. I should judge mala mimala, so therefore the mala by the sword to the mala par, and not the mala from below. No, but adarabba, danim gufa migufa vein danim gufa mihalma. I should danim gufa migufa. Talmud loima also as dama kasher also. It says also kashem Talmud loima kasher also ma Talmud loima kasher also. She will call asiyosef shala, that all of the sprinklings should be the same. Kashem shalamata bepar sheva. Then so we say kach lamata b'sor sheva, or kashem shalamala b'sor achas kach lamala bepar achas. So therefore, they're all the same. There's 1 above, both by the par and the sor, and there's 7 below, both by the par and the sor. So the Mishnah said that when he does the hazos, he does achas, and then he does 1 lamala achas, and then when he does below, he says achas v'achas, achas v'shtayim, achas v'shalosh, and v'chulu v'chulu. Tan Rabbanan achas, he counts 1 achas v'achas. And then when he continues and he does the 7 below, he says achas v'achas, achas v'shtayim, achas v'sholosh, achas v'arba, achas v'chomesh, achas v'sheish, achas v'sheva. Divrei Rameir. So that's the way he counts it. That's the way he expresses it. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, he says no, achas v'achas, shtayim v'achas, not achas v'achas v'shtayim, shtayim v'achas, sholosh v'achas, arba v'achas, chomesh v'achas, sheish v'achas, sheva v'achas. But it's not really a machlekes. It's marki asri, marki asri. It counts in the normal way that they count. So it's just it's based on the custom and the way the normal the minhag is. For instance, when you say 21, do you say achas ve'esrim, or do you say esrim v'achas? So it's just the way, do you say the larger number first or the smaller number first? So it really depends on the minhag malkam. The kuli almamiyas hazal rishon esricha minyan kol achas. But they both agree, everyone agrees that you have to continue with the first minyan with each one, meaning the 1 lamal is achas. And then when you continue with the 7 below, then you continue mentioning that first one that was done above. Achas, achas v'achas, achas v'shtayim, achas v'shalosh. So you keep that first counting, and you continue with that first 1 lamala, even though you're doing the 7 lamata. So what is the reason for that? My time, why should you mention the one that was done lamala while you're doing the sheva that are done lamata? My time is Rabbi Eliezer Amar shalayita b'hazois, that he should not make a mistake with the hazois. That he should, and the way Rashi explains it, he says, is that he should have time before he mentions how many he's doing. He should say achas. They're giving him time to think about what is the number that he's up to. So for instance, he says achas, 1 on top. Then he says achas, achas. So he says achas. Now thinking, I have, okay, what is now, I'm doing the first one below. Achas ushtayim. He has time to think. He says achas. He has time to think about what am I up to. Achas v'sholosh. Which one I'm up to? I'm up to the 3rd one. So it gives him time to concentrate on it. So that's the way that Rashi says it's that he should have time to concentrate. Other Rishonim learn it differently. The Teis Hashem, Teis Rosh, etc. They say differently. They say that the reason is because if you don't continue with the first 1 lamala, when you come to the 7 lamata, you might count as follows. You might go, he goes achad lamala, he goes achas. Then when he starts the ones below, he might just continue on and do, well, he already said 1, he might go and count 2, 3, 4, and then he won't have 7. So therefore he says achas, he does achas lamala, he says achas ve'achas, to ensure that he now says achas, and ve'achas, he starts again from 1. That he's not continuing on, he starts again from 1 to make sure that he does a full 7. Now, it's not an Eitzah just to count straight through till 8, to count 1 lamal achas, and then go shtayim sholosh, and then count till 8, because the 7 below have to be counted as a unit of 7. So therefore, it's achas, achas v'achas, to make sure that you don't count that shtayim, that you don't start counting and assuming you already did the 1 and count shtayim. So that's what Rabbi Elazar says. The Rabbi Yochanan Amar Makro v'lifnei. The pasuk says v'lifnei akapares yazeh. It says lifnei akapares yazeh. He sprinkles. Shein tam lomer yazeh. Now it doesn't have to say yazeh. He sprinkles, because we know from the beginning of the pasuk that it says that v'hizah he sprinkles. Ma tam lomer yazeh. Limed al hazor rishayna shetzricha minyan im kol achas v'achas. Yazeh, that this hazor, the counting of the first one, has to be mentioned along with each one of the 7 that are below. My beinau, what's the nafkamina between the two reasons? Beinau, the loy mana, v'loy ta. The nafkamina is if he didn't say achas with each of the 7 below. He didn't say achas v'achas, but he did not make a mistake. So according to Rabbi Elazar, that it's only to ensure you don't make a mistake. Well, he didn't make a mistake, and even though he didn't count the achas with each one of the below, so it should be kosher. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, it's exeris hakosov, that the minyan, the counting of the first one, has to be mentioned with each one of the 7 below, and he would not be yaitza.